I'm Tom Baker, this is Chasing Cars, and today I come to you guys with some big news about the Hyundai i30, which is one of Australia's favourite cars. Now, on my end of the channel, I see that so many of you are interested in researching or buying an i30, and there's a big facelift coming to the car. So that means that now you need to decide whether you buy a current model, which is going to be running out soon, or wait a few months for the new cosmetic changes, which will be arriving in Australia in the second half of 2020. But we've already seen the facelift, so in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a detailed update on everything that's going to change for the 2020 Hyundai i30. The 2020 i30 facelift applies to all of the i30 body styles sold around the world: the hatchback, the fastback, and the tourer station wagon. Sadly, we don't get the rather cool looking wagon here in Australia, and we only receive the hardcore N version of the fastback. So the most common sight on our local roads will be this updated hatchback. However, I'll touch on the changes to the fastback and the estate car later in the video. The first thing to note is that this is a relatively subtle facelift, though that is pretty normal for a midlife update. You'll notice the biggest changes when facing the front of the new i30, where the current model's soft appearance has been chiseled down. The updated car has edgier lines, sharper creases, and a lower set grille that I think helps to bring down some of the visual weight. The new headlights in particular are now angled down toward the road surface and feature a striking, acute angle LED light signature that isn't immediately familiar as a Hyundai element to me, but we will be seeing more of it in the future. The grille is wider, with the trapezoidal shape now extending below and beyond the light fitting. Now, the specific appearance of the grille and the materials used in it will differ depending on grade. The car featured in this European specification video that we've been given is an N-line, formerly known in Australia as the SR. The N-line's grille is largely blacked out, save for a small badge denoting this trim grade. It's likely the base model will receive a simpler black grille. Then, for the premium spec i30s that come to Australia, you can expect this rather distinct appearance. Note how the grille is entirely different, and the front diffuser is eliminated in favour of an integrated look with additional chrome detailing. Beneath the fitting for the number plate on the N-line is a larger air dam paired to large triangular intakes, though these look to be fake on this 1.6 litre turbocharged petrol model. It is likely that the i30N, which will debut in new facelift form later on, will feature more genuine aero. Overall, I think the new front-end treatment advances the i30's design and eases the aging process of this third generation i30 quite nicely. Plus, this deep new red colour, called Sunset Red, is pretty handsome, and it's not just another derivative of Mazda's Soul Red. I'd call this more like a burgundy. Let me know what you think of the new look below the video. Moving on around to the side profile of the i30, and there's little to differentiate the car from the pre-facelift version. That's normal. Midlife cosmetic updates very rarely change the costly hard points of the car, but train spotters, or perhaps i30 spotters, will be able to identify the 2020 car from new wheel designs in 17 and 18 inches. Now let's head around back, where the changes are similarly subtle. There's a new, more aggressive diffuser with silver trim on this N-line, paired with dual exhaust pipes set to the right hand side, along with purely cosmetic aero on either side. Above this structure, you'll note that the taillights are the same shape, but they feature modernised LED graphics with an angular signature evoking the design we saw in the headlights. On the premium specification i30s, the rear end design is also differentiated from the N-line, with low set chrome detailing around two mock exhaust outlets that are closed in on this vehicle. Let's head inside the hatch now, where the i30 benefits from some incremental changes that Hyundai have pulled from the parts bin of other new models in their range, notably the Ioniq electric car. The biggest change is the inclusion of a new 10.25 inch touchscreen, basically lifted straight from the Ioniq, and that's no bad thing. With a crisp, high-resolution panel and the space to place two apps side by side, the new infotainment is a considerable upgrade from the old 8-inch display, though I still think the i30 screen could be better integrated. Ahead of the driver, there's a new digital display that will likely feature only on high-grade cars like this N-line. The digital display looks to be fairly basic in that it can display your speed and perhaps rudimentary audio and navigation information, but not a full map like the display seen in Volkswagen Group cars. The steering wheel receives a very subtle redesign with restyled shortcut buttons and toggles, while the leatherette and Alcantara seats featured in this N-Line car in Europe are particularly attractive. He's hoping they make it to Australia. Meanwhile, the luxury specification car also features the new screen, as well as lighter interior colour palettes with leather seating. As promised, I mentioned I would briefly run through the changes to the Fastback and to the wagon. The Fastback is most relevant for the Australians watching, given many of these aesthetic changes will find their way to the i30 Fastback N that has proved a reasonably popular alternative to the traditional N hatch on our shores. The Fastback receives the same new front-end treatment as the hatch, with a generally lower set aesthetic, framed by the more aggressive headlights that debut a new angular light signature, a broader grille, and significant additional detailing around the front diffuser. Around back there are next to no changes, aside from noting that the N-Line grade appears to pick up the low-set triangular rear fog light from the Fastback N, which is a cool addition. Lastly, the very practical tourer station wagon that Hyundai Australia should really bring here continues to be a big booted alternative to the hatch and the Fastback. The wagon benefits, again, from the restyled front end, but also a rear end job that's more comprehensive than that on the Fastback, with new LED rear taillights and the new diffuser making their way to the estate. So that was a comprehensive update about all the changes that are going to be filtering through on the 2020 Hyundai i30 later this year. Let me know down below the video what you think of the cosmetic updates to this popular small car and whether or not you're interested in buying the modernized version or whether you think there's nothing wrong with the current vehicle. While you're down there in the comments, make sure to hit subscribe if you liked this video and the notification bell if you'd like to stay in close contact with us. And if you think this video would help out a friend, feel free to share it. And as always, thanks for watching Chasing Cars.